Welcome students. Today I am going to take class 8 chapter number 9, which is reproduction in animals. You have already studied about various life processes in your previous classes like digestion, respiration, excretion, etc. And also you have studied about reproduction in plants. Today we are going to study reproduction in animals, how it occurs in animals. First of all, we will study that what is reproduction and why it is required. Reproduction is a process by which any organism can produce new offsprings of their own kind. Okay, they can produce their young ones which are similar to them, and this process helps in the continuity of the life also, because all the living organisms have a certain lifespan. So after the death of the particular organism, for the continuation of that species to exist or that organisms to exist on the earth, reproduction process is essential. Now, this reproduction process is also a biological process. It is one of the life process only. Next is, what are the various modes of reproduction process? Various modes of reproduction process are asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction, when only one parent is required to produce new offspring. And in sexual reproduction, two parents are required to produce offsprings or young ones. These two parents will be, one will be male parent and another will be female parent. These parents, they have special cells which are called as gamete, male gamete and female gamete. So these gametes, they help in reproduction process. Now, where these gametes are produced in human body? These gametes are produced in male reproductive organ and female reproductive organ respectively. So first we will study what are the various parts of male reproductive organ and where all these male gametes are produced. These male gametes are sperms, they are known as sperms, and female gamete are known as egg or ova. Male reproductive organ has main three parts. First is testis, it is a paired structure, and another one sperm duct, and a muscular structure which is called as penis. These sperms are produced in these testes only. These testes, they hang outside the body in a bag-like structure which is called as scrotum. And here in the testis, millions of sperms are produced. And these sperms, through this sperm duct, they reach to the male reproductive organ from where they are released. This sperm is a single cell structure. Though you can see three parts are here like head, middle piece and tail, but it is a single cell structure. In the head region, nucleus is present, and this tail of the sperm, it helps in locomotion or the movement of the sperm, because during fertilization, sperm has to reach to the ova or egg cell. So this tail helps in movement of the sperm. Now come to the female gamete, where they are produced. So it is a female reproductive organ diagram. Female reproductive organ also involves two ovaries and a bag-like structure which is called as uterus. These ovaries are connected with this uterus with the help of this tube-like structure. This tube-like structure is known as oviduct. It transfers egg which are produced in the ovary to the uterus. But like the sperms, only single egg is produced every month by the any of the ovary, either this ovary or that ovary. So only single egg will be produced by the ovary, and that will be carried through this oviduct, or it is also known as fallopian tube, into the uterus. The egg is a single cell structure. It also has a dense cytoplasm and a prominent nucleus inside it. So these both, sperm and egg, they are single cell structure. So this is about male gamete and female gamete. And now when male and female gamete are produced, they get fused, and then the next process, which is known as fertilization. Now I am going to take next topic, that is fertilization. After the formation of male gamete from the testis and female gamete from the ovary, these two gametes, or the reproductive cells or the sex cells, they get fused with each other, and this fusion of male and female gamete it is known as fertilization. So when the male gamete get fertilized, female gamete, that is the egg, when it get fertilized with the sperm, okay, then after the fertilization of these two, that means both the nuclei, egg and the sperm nuclei, they will get fused and they will form a single cell structure. This structure is known as zygote. This is sperm. Okay, so one egg will get fertilized with a single sperm only, though the number of sperms are produced by the male body, but only one single sperm will enter into the egg, and the further entry of the sperm will stop. It will not take place. Then this egg and sperm, they will form the next cell, which is known as zygote. This zygote is a single cell structure and it is having a single nucleus. Later on, this zygote gets divided and redivided. First it will 2 cell, and then the 2 cell structure, and then it becomes 4 cell structure, and further the number of cells will be produced in this, and when it is having large number of cells in it, then it is called as embryo. Okay, so the formation, the fusion of male and female gamete, this process is known as fertilization. After fertilization, which cell is formed? That is zygote. Zygote will further divide and redivide, and it will become a ball-like structure, which is known as embryo. But this fertilization process can be of two types, or it can occur in two ways. One is internal fertilization and another one is external fertilization. So difference between these internal and external fertilization. Internal fertilization, when this fusion of male and female gamete, it occurs inside the female body. Inside the female body. This type of fertilization is known as internal fertilization. As I explained you before, that in the human body, uterus is connected with the oviduct and they are connected with the ovary. So the fertilization will take place only when the egg is traveling in the oviduct inside the female body. So this type of fertilization is known as internal fertilization. On the other hand, external fertilization, when eggs and sperms are released outside the body. Like in aquatic animals, for example, it is frog. We can study this in frog and fish. Frog and fish, they both, male and female, they release their eggs and sperm into the water. And here the number of eggs is also very large, because there are chances that they may be eaten by the predators, or they may get spoiled due to water current, wind, or any other reason, or they may not get chance to fertilize with the sperm if only one egg will be produced. So the nature has given this opportunity to these animals that they lay large number of eggs as well as sperms. So the fertilization will take place. For the certainty of the fertilization, large number of eggs and sperms are released in the water, and in the water only each egg will get fertilized with a single sperm here also. But fertilization is taking place outside the female body in the water. So we are calling this type of fertilization as external fertilization. Internal fertilization, as in case of all mammals, okay, and in birds. Okay, mammals and birds, they have internal fertilization. Frog, fish and other aquatic animals also, starfish, they all have external fertilization. There is a one more method we can say, that is IVF technique of fertilization. This IVF technique of fertilization, in case in human being, if fertilization by the normal process is not possible, that means maybe blockage in the fallopian tube or any other reason, the egg cannot get fertilized with the sperm, then outside the female body it gets fertilized. Okay, we can say in a test tube or in any other apparatus. So here it is outside the female body, but only fertilization process. Fertilization taking place outside. Fertilization is taking place outside. After fertilization, when zygote is formed, then that zygote is implanted into the female body for further development. So this technique is known as in vitro fertilization method, and the babies which are born by this method, they are known as test tube babies. Okay, they are known as test tube babies. So here we can say that it is a artificial method of fertilization in which fertilization takes place outside the female body. It's not taking place inside the fallopian tube. Now we are going to study about the development of embryo. Embryo is formed by the fusion of male and female gamete. Male gamete is sperm and female gamete ova. Ova is released from the ovary, and as ova travels into this oviduct or fallopian tube, if it gets fertilized with the sperm, then it will form the next cell which is known as zygote. The fertilization will take place only in this oviduct or fallopian tube. This zygote further divides and redivides and become a ball-like structure. Number of cells are present there, and later on it slowly reaches to the uterus wall and gets embedded into it. This is known as implantation of embryo inside the uterus. Here this embryo gradually divides and redivides, and then the cells are differentiated to form different organs like head, hands, tail and other body organs of our body. When all these organs which are quite visible, that time it is termed as fetus. This whole development takes place inside the mother's uterus only. And this fetus, the developing fetus, it gets all its nutrients and air or oxygen which is required through this placenta and the tube-like structure which is known as umbilical cord. So the developing fetus is depending on the mother for getting all the nourishment as well as the oxygen requirement. Approximately in 40 weeks, or we can say in 280 days, the complete development of this fetus occurs, and then mother gives birth to a healthy baby. So here what we see, that in cases like human, cow, dog or all the mammals, they give birth directly to the young ones. Okay, and this type of animals which give birth directly to the young ones, they are known as viviparous animals. On the other hand, we see that there are other organisms like hens or the birds, any bird, or insects, reptiles like lizards, they all lay eggs. They do not give birth to the young ones. So these type of animals which lay eggs are known as egg laying animals or oviparous animals. These oviparous animals are egg laying animals and giving birth directly to the young ones. These animals are known as viviparous animals. Now we will study the asexual mode of reproduction. Here we are going to study this mode of reproduction with the help of two examples. One is budding in hydra and another one is binary fission in amoeba. In budding of hydra, what we see, from the parent body a small outgrowth appears which is known as bud. Slowly and gradually this bud grows and develops into a small hydra body. Later on, this hydra body gets detached from the parent body and it can develop into a new individual. So from the single parent, new individual is formed, and this method is budding process. Another method of asexual reproduction is binary fission in amoeba. Binary means two. Body of the parent amoeba will divide into two daughter cells. First, the amoeba body, it will elongate its nucleus. The nucleus will get elongated, and then later on the cytoplasm of the parent cell also divided into two parts, and each part will have nucleus and cytoplasm in it. So from the single parent body, two cells are formed and it is known as binary fission method. These two cells, they are known as daughter amoebae. In asexual mode of reproduction, we see that all the characters are same as of their parent. The new cells which are formed, whether it is a hydra or it is an amoeba, they will have similar features like their parent, because there is no fusion of male or female gamete takes place. Whereas in case of fertilization which occurs in the sexual reproduction, we see that the half characters we get from the male gamete and half we get from the female gamete. So we are having characteristics of both our mother as well as father. But here the parent and the daughter cell, they all will have same characteristics. So this is asexual mode of reproduction. Now we will study how the fertilization takes place in hens. In hens, the fertilization is internal fertilization. After fusion of the male and female gamete, zygote is formed, and this zygote again divides and redivides and changes into embryo. In this transformation from zygote to embryo, the embryo travels in the oviduct and it develops a hard shell around it, and later on this embryo, which is covered with the hard shell, is released from the hen's body, and after 3 weeks of incubation the egg shell breaks and the chicks, they come out. Incubation is the period which provides proper warmth for the development of the chicks. So what we see that the fertilization is internal in case of birds, but the further development of embryo takes place outside environment, not inside the hen's body. Next topic, that is metamorphosis. Metamorphosis occurs in the egg laying animals. Here the eggs, before developing into the adult, it undergoes various life stages, and these stages we observe very drastic changes are taking place. As I have already studied about silk moth life cycle, the eggs, they change into larva or caterpillar. They are very active, and then this stage, the larva or caterpillar, they change into pupa, which is resting stage, and after some time the pupa develops into adult insect. In the same way, another example of metamorphosis is frog. Frog, they lay eggs and sperm into the water where the external fertilization occurs, and then these eggs, they change into tadpole, early tadpole stage. In this stage they look like a small fish and they have a tail and gills like fish, so they live in the water, and early tadpole then change into late tadpole stage. Then they start developing their limbs. After the development of the limbs and other organs inside the tadpole, it changes into small frog, and then that small frog changes into adult frog. So here we observe that early tadpole, late tadpole stages, they are very different from the adult frog, and this type of changes when occur, the process is known as metamorphosis. Now I am going to explain you another topic, which is cloning. Cloning is asexual method of reproduction. By this method we can produce an exact copy of a cell or a body part, or it can be a whole organism. First, this method was used by Ian Wilmot in Scotland, and he produced a sheep which was named as Dolly. So Dolly was first cloned mammal which was produced. In his experiment, Ian Wilmot has taken 2 varieties of the sheep. One was Finn Dorset sheep and another one was black-faced ewe. From the Finn Dorset sheep, he has taken the mammary gland. Mammary gland means the milk-producing glands, the glands of a female body which are responsible for the production of milk. So he has taken those glands, and from the black-faced ewe, he has taken egg cell. But before fusion of these two cells, he has removed the nucleus of this egg cell, and only the cytoplasm of the egg cell was utilized, and here the only nucleus of the mammary gland was introduced into this egg cell. Later on, this egg cell was allowed to further develop into this black-faced ewe sheep only. Okay? After the full development of this Dolly, the new sheep was born on 5th July 1996 and was given the name as Dolly. To our surprise, you can say that as this Dolly was born from the black-faced ewe, but she was having the characteristic of Finn Dorset sheep. Though the Dolly was given birth by the black-faced ewe, but sheep was having the characters of the Finn Dorset sheep. Reason behind is this: the nucleus, which is having all the characteristics transferred from one generation to other generation. The chromosomes which are present in the nucleus, you have studied before also that chromosomes are responsible for transferring hereditary character from one generation to other generation. So the cell which was growing in this black-faced ewe body was having the nucleus from the Finn Dorset sheep. Dolly was having all the features like Finn Dorset sheep, because the nucleus present here in this cell was from the Finn Dorset sheep. And as you know that nucleus has a genetic material in the form of chromosomes. So the chromosomes which are having information from the Finn Dorset sheep, they were present here. So all the features which were there in the Dolly, it was similar to the Finn Dorset sheep, though it was given birth by the black-faced ewe. So by this method we can see that the exact copy of the Finn Dorset sheep was developed. This is all about the chapter, children, and I hope all the topics are quite clear to you. Thank you.